Bradley Jordan and Peyton Plumley. Coach, we'll have you make an opening statement, then we'll take questions for the student-athletes. After we dismiss the student-athletes, we'll go back with questions for Coach. Floor is yours when you're ready.
Thank you. Great night. Atmosphere, the way we played, the way they played. I mean, you got to tip your hat to Miami. Very talented team. They spent about the last 12 hours on that field. But, man, our guys, I thought our starter, Peyton Plumley, was awesome. And then all the guys who ran out of the bullpen did their job, played great defense, and some clutch hitting. I mean, we faced some really good arms tonight. I thought they threw some guys with really good stuff, and we just had some big hits. And nice to get Jake back in the mix. He was a big part of tonight with some bigs. The last couple nights we've been talking bad about you, so no, you're good. But Jake was awesome tonight, and just a fun night at the ballpark.
Again, we have two microphones here for you. Megan's to my left, Carmen's to my right. We'll start with Steve in the middle, then we'll go to Joel.
Jake, 4 for 4 with Super Regionals in your career, and you're part of the only program in the country to make Super Regionals 4 years in a row. Your thoughts on that accomplishment when you look back over your legacy here?
Well, I like to think I helped, but it took a team effort all 4 years, you know. Freshman year, we were loaded, big leaguers all over the field. Sophomore year was Brent Rooker's historical year. Junior year was a crazy ride, and this year, it's going really smoothly all year. It's been a crazy 4 years, but that's because of the boys in the locker room. That's not just me, but it's awesome, and look to keep going and staying hot.
We'll go to Joel, third row in the middle.
Jake, you hit the 35-foot tapper in front of the plate and beat it out at first base. I mean, is there a weight lifted off your shoulders there? Did you feel different in the rest of your bats, the rest of the night to kind of get that skid out of the way? Just kind of what goes through your mind during the infield single and then the rest of the night?
I mean, it's just funny how baseball works, man. Coach Lamonis comes up here last night, says we're looking for a Jake-type hit, which I took offense to.
It's all right.
But you
got a lot of other good ones, but you get some of those too. So.
But baseball's weird. Right before I started struggling, I remember an article came out, and there was a couple quotes from me saying, if you keep playing hard, good things will happen. And then this scuffle started, and the past 4 games prior to tonight, the past 4 games haven't gone my way in the box, but we won 2 games in a regional. So I was happy as can be, and I'd stay true to who I am. If you play the game the right way, play hard, good things are going to happen. And I hit a ball 20 feet or 4 feet and beat it out. And baseball is the weird game it is. I started finding some barrels.
We'll go to Tyler in front of Peyton here.
Joel asked about the infield hit to the pitcher, but how good did that double feel? Because I know you had the single in between those, but the double was the first one, like you said, that you really got a good barrel on it.
Yeah. Well, after the infield hit, the second hit was my bread and butter hit. 6-hole, take what they give me. Ball on the outside part of the plate, third baseman's playing in to cover the bunt. They're going to give me the 6-hole. That's just what I do. And when I got that hit, that was the one that was like, all right, you're back to the basics. Well, let's start rolling. And then, the next at bat was a big one because I knew Westberg was going to get the job done. Everyone on our team is going through scuffles, but the one thing that everyone has done is kept a positive attitude because we've been winning all year. It's miserable to be struggling and losing, but when you're winning, it's easy to stay positive. And that's a testament to the guys in the locker room.
We'll go to Steve here, and then we'll go in front of him to Ben.
Peyton, your team went to Omaha last year without you, and here you are tonight closing out a regional championship game and one of your final starts at Duty Noble Field. What's the past year meant to you?
The past year was pretty tough on myself and my family. But I knew that this is the place that I wanted to be, and looking at other options was not going to be an option for me. I give a lot of credit to Coach Lamonis for having the faith and bringing me back, having the faith in me all year, even though probably countless times I showed him that he shouldn't have faith in me. But he kept his head up, I kept my head up, and playing in front of these fans one more year has meant the absolute world to me and my family, and I give all credit to the guys and all the coaches.
Peyton,
this week, obviously, you didn't pitch in you didn't get a start in the SEC tournament. How did you kind of stay fresh going into this start after not getting a start in basically 2 weeks?
Well, nothing really changes between the lines with practice. I still have to get my work in no matter what. I did get a chance to come in and pitch against Vanderbilt for kind of a bullpen, so that helped too. And obviously, being in front of that environment in Hoover helped prepare for this weekend. And preparation leading up to this week, nothing really changed for me. Just staying true to myself and knowing what was going to work for me moving forward.
We'll go to Logan on the far left.
Ryder, you've had some accolades over your first 2 years here, freshman All-American, things like that, but there's a lot of talented players took that field this weekend. You were named the MVP. What did that mean to you?
It just means a lot, Had a good weekend, had 3 wins, battled through some adversity in the beginning of the year, but, to be the MVP this weekend, it just means a lot that, like Jake said, play hard and, good things are going to happen, and that's what I've been doing, and, it just feels good.
We'll go to the back of the cameras with Tom.
Peyton, obviously coming into this one, Miami put up 10 runs in, I think, 3 straight games. What was your approach with them coming into this, and what was working for you?
Well, looking at Miami's lineup, it kind of resembled a lot to a team like Arkansas. It was super aggressive, and you had to make good pitches to good hitters when you got a lineup full of them. I knew that the best way to be effective for myself was to move the 2-seam down the zone and keep it away from them, because I know they're going to be big and aggressive and trying to pull the ball and trying to hit home runs and doubles all night. I knew that if I could stay away from them and I can keep the ball down in the zone and make them move it to the defense. We played great defense, this whole year, really, and I give a lot of credit to those guys behind me. But just seeing a lot of the big swings and taking advantage of their aggressiveness and trying to get those guys out in 3 pitches or less.
We'll go ahead back to Tyler here in the front.
Peyton, what was it like waiting around all day for an 8 p.m. start, and probably one of the biggest starts of your career? And then did you get the sense of how important this game meant to everybody that was there when you were walking off the mound there in the 6th, I think it was?
Yeah,
Slept till 4.
Yeah, so I did sleep till about 12 o'clock, so I got some good rest. But it's funny, I was talking to Coach Fox all before the game, and I told him that, usually when I get to the field, I start kind of getting the jitters just leading up to any start that would be, or any game really. And I told him today I felt really comfortable for some reason, and I didn't have those nerves just because, just the comfortability with our guys, the way they were hitting the ball. I knew that if I went into the game and kept it close and gave us a shot to win, the bats are going to pick me up, and that's exactly what happened.
We'll go back again to the cameras and Tom, and then we'll go over to the front and Ben.
Peyton, again, you mentioned the infield and multiple, I think 3 double play balls were returned tonight. For a pitcher, I don't know how many returned while you were on the mound, but what does that do for you on the hill in terms of confidence, having those guys being able to turn that in tough spots?
Well, not only does it give me a lot of confidence and a lot of momentum, but it gives our offense a lot of momentum. And anytime you can turn double play to grab an inning, you get the crowd into it, you get the whole team into it, and ultimately it crumbles the other team, and it puts a lot of pressure on them. And when you play in an environment like this, it's an environment like no other, and it's really hard to play when you got 11,000 people yelling behind you.
Again to Ben, we got time for a couple more for the players, and then we'll go to questions for Coach.
Jake, you talked all kind of week leading up to it, wanting to pack the house and bring people out there, live up to your expectations, and what was it like getting out there in the new field?
It didn't shock me, We hosted a regional and a super regional my freshman year, and they packed the place out, The Mississippi State baseball it means a lot to the people, and man, they came and they were loud. You can't even describe how much it helps. College baseball, you don't have stadiums like this, and when you get opposing teams come in here, it almost shell shocks you. I'm still not used to it. Today, last night, I remember that first at bat, I was like, oh my gosh, this place is insane. It just erupted, and it helps a lot, and we got to ask them again. We'll see y'all Friday night. We need everybody to show up and help us get back to Omaha. Their presence matters. It does, and it's a big reason why we're here.
Anything else for the student athletes? We'll wrap it up here with Hunter, and then we'll let the student athletes go.
So Rowdy, in the bottom of the ninth, you had that catch, the second out, and you almost dropped it. Was there kind of nerves there, or kind of explain what was happening?
I mean, that ball is the highest ball I've ever seen hit in my life. When I was running after it, and I looked over to Jake. I didn't want it, you know. I didn't really want to catch it that bad. And Jake looked at me and said, take it.
I said,
I'm
take it.
oh, great. He don't want it, so I guess I'm going to have to catch it. I just felt like it wasn't going to come down, but made the catch at the end, and it felt good to get the second out, so it was fun.
All right, thank you, guys. Congratulations. We'll see you next weekend.
Thank you all, Hell State.
Appreciate it, y'all.
Go ahead and get rolling with questions for Coach. Again, raise your hand. We'll start with this gentleman here in the middle row to Coach's right.
Obviously, you're not new to regionals, obviously, but when you think back to when you got here, you know, this is part of the plan at Mississippi State, and it's played out today. It's played out like you would like. But can you describe what it is like? Is it what you imagined it to be?
Everything and more. Just and it's just not tonight. It's Friday night we played LSU. Just our fans and our ballpark and our atmosphere. It's the pinnacle of college baseball. I know there's some other great places, but there's none better than Dudy Noble. And it was just a lot of fun to compete. When you get those big hits and those moments, it's just it feels like the place is rocking.
Go ahead and get it to Brett here in the front to Coach's right.
I know you didn't want to go to Cole today, but you ended up giving him the ninth inning. What made you change your mind? And what does it say about him that he didn't really come here as a pitcher? He was a hitter first, but now he's at a point where he can take 3 straight games in a regional.
This is my 5th year as a head coach, and I'm sitting in the dugout in the 9th inning and shaking my head saying I shouldn't have said anything at the media last night, right? Because everybody's saying, oh, God, Cole's throwing. But I'm walking through. I always do my walkthrough during BP and just check on the pitchers. And I asked, him and Lee Belt are always standing together. And Cole goes, Coach, I feel better today than I did yesterday. And so I put a little hop in my step. And Leibs got exhausted in that 1 inning. I mean, the 1 inning he had to really fight through. And when he came out and watching Cole's warm-up pitches, he was as good or better than the 2 nights before. So we're glad to have him. He's such a tough kid. I'm just glad he's on our team.
We'll go ahead to Ben in the front row to Coach's left, and then we'll go to Joel in the third row.
Could you get a couple of really big innings from Tristan and Colby right there in the middle? First off, I mean, Colby gets the double play ball and to kind of sort that inning out, and obviously a good inning from Tristan as well. I mean, how important were those guys tonight?
They've been big for us all year. That element that we can match you up in our bullpen, and Tristan's had some really good bullpens this week, and you know, sitting there today, you sit in your office and you're watching that game, and that Miami, that lineup, and it's a bunch of young guys. It is a really good lineup. And I thought our pitching coach, Scott Foxhall, he did an unbelievable job today, and all our pitchers did a great job. I mean, Peyton Plumlee, man, he pitched. I mean, it was hard to take him out because he had been so good, but we knew the matchup was there, and it worked out for us. But Peyton, just the way we pitched him and the ability to keep the ball down in the zone, because there's some scary hitters in that lineup.
We'll go ahead and get it to Joel, third row in the middle.
I know you guys have full confidence in Jake, but was it like the world was lifted and everything was right in the world when you see Jake get a hit and then he just one after the other after that?
Yeah, and the at-bat that he had to double, I turned to Jake, I said, he's out of it now. We were thinking about bunting. Marshall walked, the guy, right there, and we talked about it. I said, do I bunt him? And then we looked at each other and said, nah, Jake's back. And then next pitch, he hits the ball in the gap. I'm just happy for him. He is... Everything he says, he's the epitome of a ball player, and he deserves to be able to enjoy this time. And it was hard watching him fight through it. You're at your senior year, and you're competing, and he's the ultimate competitor. And we knew he'd fight out of it. I mean, I said it last night. He's been really good in his work, and it was just a point of getting that one hit to get it off his back.
We'll go ahead and get it to Steve here in the middle, second row.
Coach, usually you have multiple coaching changes. Things aren't going real well, but Mississippi State's head 4 and now headed to their 4th Super Regional. What does that say about the culture at Mississippi State?
You better win, or no? Is that it's coaches get too much credit probably at both times. It's about the ball players. We have great players here. We've really worked hard, and we hope to continue just to have great players in the program. And players win games, not coaches. We keep them out of trouble sometimes and keep them moving in the right direction. But I was very fortunate to walk into a program that had a great culture with some really good players, and we've enjoyed coaching them.
Go back to the second row, to the coach's right.
You know, it seemed like this game, particularly in this regional, was the kind of game you see this time of year. Combination of pitching, timely hitting, defense. Did you sense that as well?
I did, and you know, it's kind of, you know, you're hoping for one of those two teams in front of you have a blowout. We run out there and the guy's throwing 94, 95 miles an hour, and I mean, pitching, I mean, their guy was really good tonight, and their bullpen, and I felt like our guys were really good, and you were locked in a game. I mean, it was two of the better teams in the country, and they were fighting it out, and fortunately for us, we came out on top.
Got time for a couple more for Coach, and then we'll get Miami in here.
Coach, with a strikeout team, fly ball kind of pitching staff, you don't get a lot of double play opportunities over the course of the season, but how confident were you on those ground balls in the middle that the guys were rolling? Did you get those turn twos?
I'm really comfortable with those. You know, Justin Foscue, and probably shame on me for playing him at third early in the year, but moving him to second base has been a huge part of our, you know, our defense getting a little bit better, because he's very comfortable there, and he's really good at the double play. He turned a couple yesterday, and we turned a couple today, and he's played really well. And Westy's been solid all year, but the ability to turn the double play is huge.
We'll wrap it up with Brian.
Looking ahead to next weekend, do you feel comfortable that JT Gann will be back in the rotation for you?
I can't answer that at this point. You know, he's just in rehab right now, so we'll figure it out. We have enough arms, but we'll see where he's at. But I couldn't even tell you. I don't have an answer.
Thanks, Coach. We'll see